Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast, in a sense. We are...
a very special episode.
Yes.
Not like official or anything. It's kind of more like a happy hour experience where Spencer and I are just gonna shoot from the hip and talk about all the spoopy horror movies that we've watched this year, because it's spoopy month and we've watched a whole lot of spoopy movies.
That is true, and we have a decent amount of them in common.
Yes. I'm just gonna go by my letterboxd list.
I just pulled it last night and then typed all of them out.
Do you want to go by least favorite or lowest rated and work your way up to favorite?
Fuck. Sure. Oh, dear. Okay, so to start it off with the lowest of the low, I watched 3 separate public domain mascot horror movies. I was gonna watch more, and there are more that came out this year that I have gonna hit pretty soon. I watched, these are all unrelated and all produced by different people. Mouse of Horrors, which is Steamboat Willie. Piglet, which is Piglet, but also has nothing to do with Winnie the Pooh at all. And Popeye's Revenge. These are all 1 star out of 5 at best. Piglet was the least dog shit that I remember. There were a handful of bits of gore that I thought were okay. It just wasn't as egregious. It had really bad sound design, which was a big super negative. The sound design and sound mixing was horrendous. I thought the setting was okay. It was like an Airbnb out in the woods. Popeye's Revenge, I probably had the most amount of fun with. This one was the most, a bunch of... These are all produced in England for some reason. I don't know if it's just so much cheaper to film over there or something, but these are all British productions, which is disgusting. Popeye's Revenge is a bunch of teenagers / college students who are going to go... They're renovating a house out in the middle of the country that they want to turn into a haunted attraction to make some money. And this is the house that Popeye lived in as a kid and haunts now. Also, with all of these, none of these characters really resemble their original versions at all. Like, Popeye, his sister is Olive Oil in this one. That's weird. And also, he was just like, he got trapped in the basement because he had big arms and the kids made fun of him. And he's strong, so he accidentally killed a kid or something. It's fucking really stupid. That one actually had a couple of frights in it, mostly just because the lady that they had play Olive Oil was creepy as fuck. It's just like dark-haired 25-year-old woman in a white gown, but she has such intense sleep-deprived eye makeup that her staring through a window was inherently creepy enough. This one was really fucking dumb. And Mouse of Horrors was just pure garbage. There was nothing about that. It was like a mad scientist making animal hybrids for whatever reason. It was horrid.
Starting out at 1 star, I watched All Hallows Eve 2. I didn't have any redeeming quality about it. It was poor production, poor sound, poor story. I had nothing nice to say. I don't know if it counts as horror. There's going to be a lot of that. But I watched Titan, which I guess had some spoopy bits to it of what's really wrong here. It's kind of a vibe of there's something wrong, but we don't know what it is. Awful, disgusting, French, nothing nice to say. And The Invitation from 2022, I talked about on Dime Comic Bros already. That was a 1-star, just horrible, cliche, nothing unique to it. There was like one good performance, and that was pretty much it. So that's it for spoopy movies at 1 star.
I have one at 1.5 stars.
Wow.
Fear Street Prom Queen. So we had the
You
Fear
like
Street
that series?
I did. There's the Fear Street trilogy that came out, I think, like 2022. They're not great, but they had some strong positives here and there. They all take place in different time periods, but they're connected by like a witch's curse, whatever. This is another adaptation of one of those books. It has no connection to the previous ones, and it's horrible. All the characters are unlikable. It takes place around prom. Big surprise. So there's some like hairy energy to the movie that sucked. There was one kill with a bread slicer I thought was fun. Like some girl's face gets shoved into it, and that was neat. But this was a slog. That's all I got for 1.5. 2 stars. I have 2.
I have 4 at 1.5. Martyrs came out in 2008.
That's a rough one.
That's fucking awful, as in just like, who the fuck thinks this up? It's so painful to watch. And it's really gross. I guess it has an interesting moral quandary, but the path to get there is just awful and miserable to sit through. We're gonna talk about it later, but like a good movie that I would compare to this, I guess, or this concept is like Bring Her Back, where it's like I'm squirming in my seat just trying to finish the movie. It's well made, it does what it's trying to do, but like, who the fuck thinks this up? Like, you need some help. This is not okay. I watched The Last House on the Left from 1972. 1.5 stars, just because it's well made, I guess. It's not like a dumpster fire of a horror movie. It's gross. It's awful as a concept. I'm never watching these again. House of the Dead from 2003, we reviewed it on Dime Gaming Bros. I think there was a joke in it that I liked once or something. I don't know why it's rated so high. Sorority House Massacre, 1986, 1.5 stars. I think there was a kill in it that I liked. It's one of those shitty 80s horror movies that was pumped out like a lot. Moving on to 2 stars, I watched I Spit on Your Grave. I was kind of in a deep depressive dark hole where I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Everybody says this is the horror movie that freaked them out. Let's see what they're really made of. And yeah, don't judge me. This one got a 0.5 star more because of the story behind it, and like the guy that made it was like new to horror and did a really good job at making something horrifying. And yeah, there's that. I watched Wicked City from 1987. That's an old anime movie, animated movie. It's really too bad that the story was so awful. It was really just like a shitty 80s horror movie of let's exploit whatever, fill in the blank, for the sake of a horror movie. Because I really like the animation style. That's the animation style that I'm chasing. Like, I love Ghost in the Shell and Akira and all those things. Like, I want more of that, and this was more of that. It was just a terrible, awful story.
How did you get your settings to work? I just realized that mine were off. So I went to filters, sort by ranked lowest first, and then under year I put 2025. But for some reason, it looks like it's only giving me movies that came out this year.
You are a great big goofball. goofball and make your lists differently. I just make a list of like everything that I have watched this year.
Okay, I see.
So
I was just trying to sort it by my my diary entries.
I don't know how to help you because you sort it differently. I watched Saint Maud from 2019.
You gave that a low rating? No.
2 stars. I didn't vibe with like, what was it? It wasn't necessarily the story. I think it was like the spookiness of it, of like, okay, like what's the fucking problem here? I don't get it. Like, make up your mind. This is all in your head and it's your own problem. Like, I don't know. I just didn't vibe with it. The acting was fine and it was shot well. And the initial like problem of the story was like, okay, and and then Doom from 2005 is just not very good. But Rosamund Pike.
True. All right, just give me a second to figure this out.
Very wide definitions of scary. Also, I'm pretty confident I messed up the ratings on a lot of these just because it's like later, after having watched it, several months later, I'm looking back like a movie that's rated higher. I'm like, I'll never fucking watch that again. And then like the Saint Maud, it's like, oh, maybe I didn't get it. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood. I would probably watch it again just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So I don't know.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know how else I can sort these. So I just have my list that I pulled from everything this year. A positive, to break it up, I guess. Companion from early this year.
Yes.
Sophie Thatcher plays an android who gains self-awareness and tries to get taken and murdered, basically. It's not much of a horror movie. It's more of a thriller. It's not very scary. There are like kind of your arbitrary jump scares, but it was a really good time. It was quite funny. Jack Quaid is great in everything. You've been harping on me to watch this one for ages. I finally watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
That was so good. It was really funny. It was surprisingly sweet. The gore was done really well. The performances were astounding. That instantly got added to my like annual spooky rewatch.
That one I watched like right at the start of like, what are these gosh darn horror movies that everybody talks about? And it spoofs so many that I watched that movie like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, what is going on? I need to go back and watch it again now that I've seen all the horror movies because so many of those jokes will finally land.
You might like this one. I watched Heart Eyes. It was a like slasher horror spoof of a sort. It's very funny. It's not scary. It's a couple of people who hate each other getting chased by this killer and they end up liking each other, and the whole thing's about love and being gay and whatever. It was funny. I feel like you might enjoy that one more. It's just not as up my alley. But I had a decent enough time. The couple of twists that were in it were quite good and very unexpected. I also watched I finally watched Sleepaway Camp this year.
I've been dying to watch that one. I've heard from so many people, live and online, like, oh my gosh, it's such a boring fucking movie until that last twist. And I'm pretty sure I know what the last twist is. So I'm pretty sure I understand, or I can predict your opinions on this. But
in a sense, yes. However, it's also been kind of like reclaimed as like a very not misunderstood. There's this weird thing. Okay, so like I'm not gonna say the twist, but like it's a very queer coded movie. Not just in the twist itself. There is actually a lot of other stuff going on, mostly unintentionally, to what it seems like anyways. It's a lens you can use to look at it. And because of that, and because you can kind of flip the twist around in your head, it's been like, it's kind of beloved as like a queer horror movie now, which is weird because it has kind of a very mean-spirited ending, which just felt fucking weird. As a twist, it works pretty well. I like the setting. I am a sucker for summer camp horror movies. It's just a shame that they're all shit. Like, all of them. It's really annoying.
It is a really spooky setting to live through.
Yeah. That was one of the things that I liked about The Quarry, was it was set at a summer camp instead of it being, you know, October and spooky. It's hot. The kills were really weird. They were surprisingly grotesque for what they were. Some pretty good practical effects. I don't know. It was a weird experience. I liked it, but at the end of the day, I still haven't entirely worked out how I feel about it. But it was definitely like a necessary for the film canon of what horror has become. I had to watch this.
Whack. I'm going to go through my 2.5 stars for the most part. I watched Speak No Evil. Came out in 2024. I thought it was fucking boring and very long. James McAvoy definitely had a blast playing his part, but everything else kind of fucking sucked. It was very dry.
I disagree.
You see the commercial, you've seen the movie. There's literally nothing new. I watched Y2K. 2.5 stars. Again, fucking boring. And it goes off the rails when they bring in fucking Limp Bizkit, what's his face, and just sucks him off for like half the movie.
Yeah, that was a weird. I did not enjoy that movie very much at all. The humor did not work for me.
No, not at all. It sounded like a good idea of like being scared of what's going to happen in Y2K. Like there was some genuine fear when that was happening in real life, and that could have been tapped into really, really well. But no, let's just bring in douchebag and have him perform in a gym. I watched The Ward, directed by John Carpenter in 2010, stars Amber Heard. And again, it was just boring. It could have been good. There was some good setup to it, but it was just like predictable and didn't really do a whole lot. I watched The Collector and The Collection. The Collection got 2.5. The Collector got 3.
Those two movies do not go together at all.
No. And
they completely contradict each other.
I watched them like back to back in days. Yeah, the second one was not as good as the first one. The first one was fine. I watched The Caller from 1987. I wish I had the patience to sit you down and watch that with you, but I don't, because the first hour and a half is like, what the actual fuck is happening? Like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Two people are just playing word chess with each other for like an hour and a half, and it makes you think you're going crazy, and then there's no way that you can predict the twist of what is actually happening, at least fully. It's so weird. It's such a strange movie. It's basically just two people like in a room talking at each other for the most part. But one of those two people is Malcolm McDowell, which is not like a typical horror movie name. It's such a strange movie. And I won't be watching it again, but it's one of those like, yeah, that's a weird one. You should watch that like once.
I watched The Monkey, which is a horror comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's from Osgood Perkins, who I am a fan of. I did not like this one as much as I was hoping, or as much as the general reception was. It looked fantastic. The couple of scare sequences it had were very good. Some of the humor really worked for me, and some of it didn't. The whole movie is about death and the fear of dying and legacy and that sort of stuff. And it was a very deeply personal movie for Perkins because it's about the relationship between him and his mom and him and his brother. The brothers are played by the same actor in this movie. That's a Theo James. He does a very good job with that. The monkey aesthetic and the monkey itself is fucking creepy as all hell. It just didn't resonate very much. And when I walked out, I was like, okay. And I was hoping for a bit more than that. I watched The Night House, which was very good. It follows a woman whose husband killed himself, and his ghost kind of haunts the property, sort of. There's a lot of really good twists in this one. It was very atmospheric. It's relatively subdued. Phenomenal lighting and color grading on this one. It looks amazing. I just pulled that one out of the ether one day. I was going through Hulu, and I was like, I heard something about that, and that was pretty cool. It's about grief and losing your partner and all that sort of stuff, and that was cool. 28 years later was fucking wild. I really like it. I don't love it as much as other people do. It isn't very strong visually. It has a lot of very strange technological implementations. So, it's a very different world. It's been nearly 30 years since the rage virus took over, all that stuff. I think that the setting is really cool. We follow a very isolationist village of English people who have a very strong, very kind of gross, kind of conservative undertone to how they function as a society. It's not really developed on. It ties into other themes of the movie that I thought were really interesting. Aaron Taylor Johnson is phenomenal in it as a piece of shit. This is such a weird thing. So they shot a lot of the movie on iPhones, and when they kill some of the infected, it'll have a shot of an arrow going through their head. It'll do the truck hitting a pole from 15 angles and never hitting thing. It'll do that over and over again. And then they assembled a series of phones in a ring. So you'll have a panoramic shot of the impact. It's really weird and really fucking cool. So shot goes off, you see the impact, you see the head explode, you get a close up, whatever. And then it'll show it as the arrow is moving, the arrow is moving, and you as the camera are following in an arc. It's so weird, and I really fuck with it.
Kind of like The Matrix on steroids.
Kind of. There was definitely some influence there. They also did a lot of the B-roll footage with drones, which I thought was really well done. It's a really surprisingly heartfelt movie about death and the meaning of life and all that sort of stuff. A lot of really good twists. The ending is fucking wild. At first I was really off-put by it. I've come around on it. And I'm looking forward to the fact that there is going to be 2 direct follow-ups. One is directed by, I believe it's Nia DaCosta, the woman who directed the newest Candyman. And then the third one will be directed by damn it, the guy who did the original 28 Days and then did the first 28 Years. I can't remember his fucking name. Whatever. I don't know. There's a very interesting artistic vision they're doing there that I thought was really cool. There's a lot of swinging dong in this movie. Just a heads up.
So that's why you liked it so much.
No, not at all. But there are fucking alpha zombies who are buck-ass naked, and they're huge, and everything else is huge. It's really weird.
You don't like them when they swing? Just when they're stiff?
Really. Not when an 8-foot feral man is running at me. No.
Fine. I watched Terrifier 3 from 2024. I was pretty let down by it. 2.5 stars. Like, it's not even because it was hyped up of like, oh wow, everybody's running out of the theaters puking. I don't care about that. But just compared to the rest of the series, I was like, okay. And like, it doesn't really do anything but more kills.
I disagree very strongly. I like how they develop the lore.
Okay. I watched Hellbound: Hellraiser 2, which seems backwards. It should be Hellraiser 2: Hellbound, but whatever. From 88, 2.5 stars. Just because I'm not really huge on the Hellraiser series. Like, I've seen the first one at least twice. I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. I like the style, but I don't really dig the. How do I explain it?
Jacob does not like kinky horror.
I don't like the lore of it. I don't like summoning demons. I don't like the BDSM themes because it's not really explained. It's just like, isn't this fucking weird and freaky? Like,
yeah,
okay,
I still haven't gotten around to any of them. I want to at least watch the original. It just that stuff is really off-putting to me. Clive Barker's entire filmography. Yeah, Clive Barker's entire filmography is just like, I see why people like this. I have no interest.
That's the name I was looking for. It's like, I like Clive Barker's style, but this one doesn't scratch the itch for me. I watched The Case of the Bloody Iris from 1972. It's just classic giallo starring Edwidge Fenech. I don't even remember much about this movie. It's just more giallo, and it's okay. I can keep going if you'd like.
I watched Hatchet, which I did not expect to like, but I did.
What year is that from?
2006.
I don't think I know anything about it.
It is a horror comedy, but not because the comedy is the focus. It's very gross and very horrific. It's a slasher movie about a backwoods country bumpkin who is like a deformed kid who accidentally killed his dad and then he died or whatever, and he haunts the woods. He's a big man who runs around with a hatchet and he kills fuckers who are in the Louisiana swamps. I found it really funny. I, for some reason, connect with really trashy 2000s humor. I have my problems with that sort of attitude with a lot of comedy. I don't think it's always used well, and I think a lot of it is really lazy, but sometimes it works pretty well. This movie was unapologetically trashy. Two of the people on this like haunted horror are hookers, or no, sorry, they're porn stars who are there to work with a guy who's filming them going on like a day in the life thing. And he turns out to not actually be a real porn producer. He's just a dude who tricks them into doing it and doesn't pay them. And it was weird. It was really weird. The kills were horrific. It was really good, really low budget practical stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool. There's like 4 more of these and they all have varying receptions. Just trashy is not usually my thing, but for some reason this worked. I watched Blood Diner. I don't want to talk about it. I fucking hated it. There's so little anything positive I can say about it. Friend of the show, Jeff Lorenz, was in the room for this because he likes the movie, and I think he's a sicko. There was nothing about this that was appealing.
What is your biggest complaint about it?
I've bitched about this before, but there is this particular type of really low budget horror that's really trashy and low effort that for some reason ends up creeping me out more than it means to. I know. Despite the fact that this is a comedy movie, for some reason, the effects and the prosthetics come across so bizarre that it becomes off-putting on an entire other level. I cannot explain it. I don't think I'll ever find an answer to this. I think some of it might remind me of the fact that I was deeply traumatized by Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as a kid. Now that I think about it, like that, the heart-ripping scene fucked me up really bad, and I'm sure at the time it was fine, but especially in retrospect, it's corny as hell. It works for the movie, but like for some reason, there's a particular way of doing prosthetics and gore with that just continues in like the actual genre itself instead of being used as a tool of another genre. And I don't know. I don't fuck with it. It grosses me out. This movie wasn't funny. It felt mean and just gross. There's barf everywhere and there's blood everywhere, and it's like, teehee, it's funny, but it's still gross. I didn't like it.
Do you think the prosthetic thing is like the uncanny valley thing?
A little bit, for sure. It's definitely a part of it. I don't know. I watched the newest Wolfman movie, and I was deeply disappointed by it.
I've been looking into that, and I've been like, I don't know.
The Wolfman is my favorite Universal monster, and I am a sucker for werewolves. This is so dumb, but Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet the Werewolf is one of my favorite childhood memories. It's a banger of a movie. I was excited that Leigh Whannell was taking over for this movie. Ryan Gosling was attached at a point in time to star early in its production, and that could have been interesting. It was just weak. It wasn't bad. It had some interesting ideas. There are some cool effects done. The whole damn movie is too fucking dark. I never complain about that, but it was really true here. The script was bad. The dialogue was bad. There's just they say the theme of the movie out loud multiple times. Writing 101 shit. The performances were solid. It had Julia Garner in it, who I'm a big fan of. It also does the werewolf is more like an ape thing that I don't like. There's a lot of types of werewolf looks, and it does the type that I don't like. So that's a big gripe. They did do some cool stuff where during the transformation, like while the character is sick, he starts hearing things, like his senses start functioning differently. So people stop making sense. He hears gibberish. He will hear like a spider crawling up a wall upstairs, and it sounds like thunder. He's really
literally
cool.
Me.
Yeah, that shit was really cool. They had some interesting lighting effects where, say, it's a shot of the family looking at the father, and it starts off in their perspective in reality, and then as the camera moves and does like a semicircle, when you end up behind his shoulder, the colors are like inverted, the lights are refracting differently, and that was really cool. It was apparently done very practically. Like they would start transitioning various colored lights on set to get really weird looks. That was pretty cool. Yeah, just no rewatch value at all.
I watched Hostel from 2005.
Ew.
That's another ewy, gross. You're never gonna rewatch it. But I was kind of surprised at how it wasn't like Martyrs level of disgusting. It was like mostly watchable up to a point. It didn't like overdo it on like, oh my gosh, that's horrifying. It was just like, oh, that's really nasty, and I'm not going to watch that again. But it was really well made. 3 stars. I watched The Watchers from 2024. That was kind of weird and like... What?
Just interesting. I also watched this one.
Oh, and what did you think?
M. Night Shyamalan's daughter definitely has the same autism he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I am.
It was a good idea. It was nicely weird, but it felt a little bit stretched.
For sure. It's based on a book that apparently is also kind of mixed. I thought that the visuals were really strong. It was atmospheric and it was very creepy.
Yeah.
But the characterization and the dialogue was pretty rough, and the twists were pretty obvious. I like the bird. She just keeps the fucking bird. That was fun. She definitely has a future in filmmaking, by all means. It was.
Yeah.
I've seen so much worse as a debut, but
especially from her dad.
Yeah, like you can tell that she grew up in a household with him. That's the particular type of not understanding human behavior for some reason.
We watched Until Dawn from 2025. We already talked about that. I watched The Lair of the White Worm. It was fucking weird and wacky, and I won't watch it again. It's not that it was gross or anything. It was just a really weird, what the fuck did I just watch from the 80s? I crammed I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I Know got 3.5 stars. I Still Know got 3 stars. That's probably a high rating for I Still Know, because it was pretty fucking dumb and pointless, especially like coming out a year after the first one. It felt like the first one ended with a setup for a sequel of like somebody knew where they wanted to go with it. Like the seeds were clearly planted. The villain says, "Make sure I'm fucking dead." They don't. He gets away. It's like, okay, there's clear sequel bait setup, and it feels like they know what they want to do. And then this one's like, let's just fly to the fucking Bahamas and have a killer on an island. Like, what the fuck? With only half the cast of the first one.
Yeah, the first one is fine. It definitely hit in like a particular cultural thing. I love Freddie Prinze Jr., so that's always fun. But the fact that there's 2 more sequels, if I remember correctly. There's a direct to VOD sequel. There's a TV reboot, which it's only the premise that's the same.
Right.
And then we have the requel from this year, which I haven't watched yet, and
me either.
Apparently isn't very good either.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get this show shut down. Starting, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Jennifer Love Hewitt came on screen for like the first time in like a jacket and whatever, and I was like, wow, she's really pretty. And then I don't know, half hour later, she's like taking off her shirt to get into just her layer of swimsuit, and the camera is like literally eye fucking her, and I was like, oh no, you got Harvey Weinstein, didn't you? Like I was suddenly like, I don't know, I didn't feel called out. It was just like, oh, like I was just admiring someone that looks really nice. I wasn't being a perv, and then the camera is like completely being a perv. I was like, this is awful. This shouldn't happen. Gross. Yeah. My last 3-star was... Oh, nope, never mind. I take that back. Continue.
I watched Eden Lake.
Yes, and you rated that higher than I did, and I'm very surprised.
So you follow a couple going off into the countryside to go visit a lake that's like an old quarry for a romantic getaway, and they get harassed by some delinquent British teens. This was difficult to watch, partially because of the cruelty on display, the really, really well done sequences, and the amount of reaching through the screen I wanted to do. It made me so viscerally angry. Not because I thought that the writing was bad, but just because the situations were so fucking frustrating. I did some research. There's apparently a particular there was a particular cultural wave in England at a particular time where there was this very big like fear of I believe they're called shavs. It's like a particular type of like lower class, usually white, like British, usually male, like the tracksuit type. You know what I mean? There's an archetype that there was a lot of fear mongering about at the time, and like it's trying to tap into that like cultural moment, which I wasn't there for, that I thought was really interesting. I like how many twists there are for sure. I liked it. I liked it. I don't want to watch it again, but I did quite like it. I thought that the performances were really strong. The effects were done really well. It kept me on my fucking toes. And the ending made me so fucking angry because as soon as she walked in the house, I was like, oh, wait. Oh, fuck me. Because I recognized it and I saw what the twist was doing. I was like, and it just, every second she's in there, I was like, no, turn around now. It just keeps getting worse. And, ooh, anger.
The very first scene with the children, I'm like, if that was me in that situation, like this would not have gone on for so long. I'd have slapped the motherfucker. Like, yeah. I did handle children well.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was a wild watch.
That's a terrible watch for you in your current job. I feel sorry for you.
None of my children are British.
Oh yeah, all right, they're fine.
I watched Weapons. Did you watch Weapons?
Not yet. It's HBO on Halloween, and I'll be watching it then.
I enjoy it. I didn't love it. I want to love it. I think it's visually very strong. I really like the humor. It feels really well balanced. The performances are phenomenal. And I like the main interpretive theme. The only one that the director has addressed directly and said, yes, I was pulling like from that experience in my life. And I really, really liked that. But for some reason, it just didn't really resonate with me. I think I need to watch it again. And a lot of that's probably because it got hyped up so much and I wasn't able to watch it early in its release when I was hoping to. So I was trying not to be overly excited. I liked it. It was engaging. I just didn't love it. I don't know how you're going to feel about it. I really don't.
I was talking about it with Collin, and his biggest hang up was like the way that the story is told is out of sequence and it's really hard to follow. And he was trying to like put words to that, and I took like his hints and was like, oh, that reminds me of like this movie that I tried to watch where, and I explained it. I was talking about Strange Darling, and I was like, I couldn't fucking take it. I turned it off. And he was like, wait, what movie are you talking about? You've seen Weapons? And I was like, no, I'm talking about,
So I did talk with Collin about it, and I'm kind of impressed because I felt like this was really easy to follow. It's nearly chronological. It doesn't do that much fucking around.
Okay.
So
that makes me feel better.
He's watched far more complicated movies, so I'm not sure what that's about.
Oh. But outside of that, I've heard good things.
Speaking of Strange Darling, I didn't put it on my list because it felt like it stopped being a horror movie.
Yeah.
But I have really mixed feelings about that one. On the one hand, I like the non-linear way that it's made. I do think that's really interesting because it screws with your expectations so many times over. I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
I don't think I'm going back. I tried it. I was like, fuck this. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I think the performances are really, really good. I like the visual style so much. They filmed it on 35 millimeter, which is great. It's a great look. However, they put that shit on the title card. They put Strange Darling filmed in 35 millimeter, and it's so fucking pretentious about it. And I really hate that. And that is, there were multiple things I looked into with the development of it. Like the studio pushed back on it being nonlinear, and the filmmaker was like, I will literally walk if you don't let me make this the way I want to, which I respect. I don't think it would work in a linear way. But there's something in the air with this movie that, despite enjoying it and being along for a big thrill ride, I'm assuming you probably figured out what the major twist was, right?
I don't think I really made it far enough to know anything.
Whatever, fuck it. The movie starts off with the tone of the woman you're following has been kidnapped and is trying to get away from a man who is, one, a kidnapper and probably a rapist, which is a premise that's kind of done to death, but not always done well, so there's plenty of material to work with there. And on paper, they twist it. The man's actually a cop. He's a little fucked up, but he's actually like totally fine. This woman is the actual serial killer, and her whole shtick is like tricking men into getting into extreme situations with her in the bedroom, and then like ripping them to shreds and all sorts of stuff, which is interesting on paper. I think it's done well in the movie, but call me woke. I feel like the time on this one is just not it, right? It feels like very be scared of women, and I didn't like that. That was the vibe I got by the end of the movie, was like every woman who might want you to bone her is actually gonna call foul, and it's like, what the fuck are you cooking with this? That it felt weird. I don't know how much of that's what's in the movie versus what I'm reading into it, but like the movie is asking me to read into it, so I'm doing it. And it's like this.
What you were describing sounded like a weird twist on typical horror movie twists. Like,
yes, I agree. It's just, if it came out in 2005, I might be saying something different, but it's like we've had that twist done before too. And I don't know, in this decade in particular, it just felt like this is the message you really wanted to send. Like, I don't know, it came across weird. Weird movie.
I watched
Bring Her Back.
Oh yeah, I did see that one, and I really wanted to rate it higher because it's really well done. Like, I don't have any complaints about how it's made. The visual style is great. The hints about the deeper meanings are great. There's a lot of things to pick up on multiple watches, but there's no way that I will ever watch this movie again because the scary stuff is really well done and the gore is really well done, and it really fucked me up.
I second the notion. Yeah.
Like, no complaints about it besides the fact that it fucked me up. 3.5 stars. It should be like 4.5.
Yeah.
I watched Alien Covenant from 2017. It was fine. I watched Nosferatu the Vampire from 1979, and that was pretty good.
Isn't that the one from Werner Herzog?
That sounds right, yes. That was the context that I should have had for watching Nosferatu, and I didn't have. It was kind of weird going back and rewatching it, or watching it for the first time after having seen Nosferatu, and I was like, oh, that's why that one scene was shot kind of weird. It's kind of aping this, kind of homaging it, whatever. Blink Twice I saw, and it was fine until the end. I didn't really like. We talked about it. I took a different message than you did. I wasn't huge on it. The Love Witch from 2016 is kind of a weird one. It's shot like a 60s movies. It's got the really warm colors, and it is made to feel like it's shot on film. Like, I don't know, it's got that like Dirty Harry kind of feel to like how it looks, like the colors and the film grain or whatever. I don't know words. The story was kind of boring, though. I felt like it could have been better. It felt, if it didn't look so good, it would have been a pretty crappy watch. But the production quality was so good, and that helped raise the rating. Final Destination Bloodlines came out this year. Did you see that one?
I did.
What did you give it?
I think I gave it a 3.
Wow, I gave it 3.5. It was fine.
Yeah, I don't like Final Destination specifically. There's things about it I like. Some of them, anyways. Very wide berth of quality between those movies. I thought it was funny. I thought the humor was well done with Bloodline. I like how well the totality of the story inside the movie wrapped up.
Yeah.
I liked how they took the concept and kind of expanded it. I
was disappointed that the opening scene didn't look very good.
It didn't. It looked pretty rough. I like how I felt like the sequences were very well set up.
Yeah.
Instead of it being a lot of what Final Destination seems to do is they have your particular fears or phobias and freak accidents, but not in they feel kind of simple. Like the logs on the logging truck are not secure, the classic, or the plane will just explode. And that's one thing, but I feel like Bloodline does a very specific thing, whereas it has that 14-year-old boy sitting in school being like, okay, so if the chandelier falls, and then I can kick over that desk to knock over that pencil, which will flip that book over, and it'll knock the other desk, and that will save my crush. It feels like that. It shows how many moving parts go into all of these very convoluted accidents, and I really liked that. It does make it a little tedious. But
I think it's also just trying to appease the fans of the series because there's only so many of the basic fears that you can cover before you have to think of some pretty complex ones.
Yeah. As Tony Todd's last performance, that was nice. It apparently a bunch of his lines were improv for that, so the movie being a tribute to him and his character and all that was really nice. I thought that the stupid recurring joke, the peanut butter allergy, was really funny. I'm dumb. I don't care. And the character being who's told that he's a bastard child is oh, that's why that guy always wanted to play catch. That was fucking hysterical. Yeah, the MRI machine got me. That was a good one. They're all pretty interesting kills, but that one in particular was just so my nipples.
I watched Drag Me to Hell from 2009. It's directed by Sam Raimi. I think written by him too. I'm not sure. And I walked away from it I've put this one off for a while because the cover goes wicked hard. And
isn't it rated PG-13?
No, it can't be. It can't be. I don't see a rating. I don't know. Can't help you. I think it's R. Cover goes hard. It's not that hard. It's. I felt that it was charming. It was classic Sam Raimi. It's great. It's not that spooky. I didn't think. It's. I don't know. Go watch it. Ignore the cover. And then the last one before I kick it back to you, I watched Slither from 2006, old school James Gunn. I've put this one off too because of the cover. I'm like, oh, that's creepy crawlies and gross. Not really, kind of, but not like the cover implies. It felt like an old school horror monster movie or alien invasion movie, and it was really goofy. It was really funny at times. There was one time that I was like, ew, that's gross, but that was kind of it. Everything else was pretty straightforward and kind of a fun watch. I had a great time. And I took like a 2-second video of Nathan Fillion saying like a whole string of curse words and sent it to my siblings because that's not par for his course. It was really fun.
I watched Conjuring Last Rites, the most recent entry. I thought it was a step up from The Devil Made Me Do It. It's not amazing. It's not great, but it's good. Some of the scares are pretty solid. The atmosphere goes hard as hell. It has a particular digital look and feel to it, which I don't love. It's got I can't describe it specifically, but if I showed you it, you know what I'm talking about. Where there's a lot of horror movies, especially recently, where they have a very dark, grungy atmosphere, but a lot of it's kind of done by the color grade and the certain colors they're picking, which is totally fine. But sometimes it's so heavy-handed, you're like, that was done digitally, and that's fine. It does have that sometimes. For being a 2.5-hour horror movie, I thought it justified its runtime because it's trying to wrap up the story of these Flanderizations of two in real life horrible people. The emotional beats were nice. The family stuff was cute. What was it? There's one. The young actors who played Ed and Lorraine Warren in the opening of the movie are phenomenal. And I'm really hoping that this Conjuring TV series is casting them to do prequel stories. And hopefully, they have different creative teams taking on different arcs so we can have different flavors of horror. And I think that would be fun. It was fine. Its ending was a bit anticlimactic. It does. There's this weird horror trope that I don't know how I feel about, where our demons are just kind of always done with red eyes and black lipstick. Like, I don't know where it came from. A lot of movies do that in the possession genre, and I don't like it because I don't think it's artistically interesting. It does, however, still freak me the fuck out. It definitely had better scares than Last Rites. Last Rites had a weird plot that I did not like at all. This one was much better. The Conjuring is an ethically dubious franchise at best, but sometimes the movies are good. It had the right amount of fan service for being a franchise ender. It involves the daughter, so it had a lot of Annabelle related stuff, and I think that they referenced other characters well, and a bunch of them show up at the end of the movie just to say hi, which is arbitrary, but whatever, it's fine. It could be a much worse series ender. I watched Good Boy, which is not an amazing movie, but I do really respect it. It is a horror movie from the perspective of a dog. The dog and his owner move to some cabin that the owner's grandfather lived and died in or something, and the dog gets scared a bunch. So I guess the way they pitched it was, when your dog does random shit you don't understand, like staring into corners with nothing there, or barking at nothing, or hearing things. What if those were demons? Sort of. The movie's not very scary, but it's spooky. It puts the dog in the right amount of distress where it doesn't feel like it's arbitrarily making you feel really bad, but it's the whole emotional through line is you feel bad for the dog, but not so much where it feels gross. I thought the emotional beats were well done. I really like the behind the scenes bits on this one. It's so hard to remove from the movie itself, but the fact that the director, his wife, were in their own home and shot the sequences with the dog over years is really cool. It's not a trained acting dog, it's just their family dog. And the way that they had to film around that and then use filmmaking techniques to make the horror scary by not actually scaring the dog was really cool. It's a cute first picture, and it's 80 minutes long, so you're not missing out on a bunch of your life by watching it. Dangerous Animals is barely a horror movie. It's a thriller slasher. Jai Courtney plays an Australian shark tour guy who kills people by feeding them to sharks. This one was really fun. It was produced by Shudder, which is cool. Sharks are scary, even for people who don't have specific fears of sharks. They're weird underwater dinosaurs with dead eyes. you know. I thought that the methods that he goes through, like it's the character that he plays is far more interesting than the horror is itself. It's very basic, like picking off like tourists or vagrants or whatever, and he has the serial killer like rituals and weird beliefs and stuff I thought were really interesting. And watching Jai Courtney be authentically Australian and make people Vegemite sandwiches was really funny. It was a good watch. And my last one before my big shablooey, I watched The Black Phone 2 last night. I liked it. It's not as good as the first one. It's nowhere near as scary.
That's crazy talk, because I didn't think the first one was scary at all.
I did. Fuck you.
Wow.
The emotional through line between the two siblings is the heart of this movie, and that's what carries most of it. Whereas in the first one, it's about Finney, and Gwen kind of takes a backseat, and she kind of works like a plot device. Gwen takes the forefront here, and they work really well as a pair. The two actors have really good chemistry. The way that they function as a pair of siblings who have gone through very traumatic things is really well explored. The way that they justify using the grabber again, I think is fucking great. The thing I was really nervous about, they didn't blow, which is cool. He's basically the kids on the phone. He can interact with the world through the power of the phone. Even if it's not that phone, it's just phones now, because whatever. For being in a piece of original writing that can't really be based on the short story anymore, I thought that the way that they justified him still existing and exerting power in the real world was really cool. He's giving off Freddy Krueger in this movie, which is great. Ethan Hawke's performance is fantastic. The visuals in the outside sections are kind of rough. Like, there's a lot of this takes place around a frozen lake, and it looks pretty bad. The daylight scenes, especially outside near the lake, are rough because they're just entirely CG. However, the stuff inside the cabins is really atmospheric. The stuff just wandering through the snow looks really good. The way that they differentiate between dreams and the real world, where Gwen spends a lot of her time in this movie, is like how they did in the first one by filming on 8mm. And I think it's used really, really well here. The scariest parts of the movie are not her dreams necessarily. Her dreams are incredibly eerie and off-putting and weird. But there are also these intersplices of the kills that took place in this location. They are genuinely the grossest parts of the movie. They also are shot in 8mm, and they're like inserted into her dreams. Those parts are genuinely like, oh shit, I just watched that. That stuff. It was not quite the level of Sinister snuff tapes, but it was close. Same vibe. It felt a little thin on the whole, was my bigger problem, I guess. It does have a reason to exist. It doesn't feel like it's lacking in artistic merit or anything. It does tone down / kind of just remove the mild sexual child predator bits that were hinted at in the first one. I get why they did that. They're aiming for a bigger audience. It's a sequel. I do get it, because that wasn't a huge part of the first one. It was subtext. So I get it. He's plenty enough intimidating on his own. I don't love that. I would have liked to have kept with that, because I feel like it adds something else to the character, but whatever. There's just a lot of like, not loose threads. There's a lot of not even fluff. There's a lot of things that are poked and prodded at and certain characters in the movie that really could have been like thrown in a blender and remixed in a way that would have been way more interesting. They're at a like Christian summer camp, or it's at winter, but they're at like a Christian organization. There's an annoying Christian couple who are really shitty people. Like, they hit the tropes, but they don't tie into anything. And that's disappointing, because I think that Derrickson has, I know what he wants to do, but I just feel like, I don't know if they didn't have the time to write it the way they wanted to or whatever. But so many of the themes are not tied together. And that was kind of weird. So I don't know. Good time, not great.
How many do you have left of your big shablooey?
My big shablooey is my Friday the 13th rant. So,
okay.
What else you got?
All right, I'll just finish up then, and
Do
then
it.
you can do your big shablooey. I watched Dawn Breaks Behind the Eyes. I'm pretty sure I told you to watch it as soon as I did, and you haven't. I think you would really appreciate it, probably more than I did. But I still kind of liked it. It was 3.5 stars. It's from 2021. I'm gonna die. It's really artistic, not entirely in the derogatory sense. It looks really good. It's very unique and hard to describe. And I liked it well enough, but I think you would like it better. I watched Rec and Rec 2, as in record, the Spanish movies that were remade as Quarantine in like 2016 or something.
Dude, Wreck is scary as fuck.
Yeah, it was pretty spooky. It kind of brought itself down a little bit that it's found footage, but it's probably some of the best found footage that I've seen. I really don't like that genre, but if you're going to watch something from that genre, I would say watch Wreck, because it's really freaking good and spooky. Speaking of found footage, I watched The Blair Witch Project for the first time. I gave that 4 stars. Oh, I gave Rec 1 4 stars and Rec 2 3.5 stars, because Rec 2 rehashes a lot of what we already saw in Rec 1. It was like, okay, I've seen this. Yeah, it's from a different perspective, but I assume they filmed it at the same exact time, just from a different angle, and then added some stuff to it. So Blair Witch was fine. It was more interesting to read the behind the scenes stuff than watching the actual movie itself. But it is the thing that kicked off the found footage trend, and it, as a brand new unique idea, it was good. It's just not a huge fan of that style. I watched The Taking of Deborah Logan. That one freaked me out a little bit.
That one's fucking horrifying.
I didn't expect it to be horrifying, but it was effective in how it made itself believable. It's like, it doesn't just go, wow, old people are scary. It just brings you into a home of like, oh, that's mom, she's kind of losing it, like whatever. And then like it slowly gets worse from there up to the point of like, oh my gosh, like now we're in the realm of fantasy, but there's no line of like, this is believable and this isn't. It's just like, it's really weird in how it makes itself scary and believable. I don't think Heretic really counts, but I watched that. I watched Us from 2019. That was pretty good. I gave it 4 stars. I think the humor brought itself down a little bit. Like the dad giving a fuck about the boat was like, okay, cringe, whatever, move on.
I agree with you, despite the fact that I like the humor in the movie. It completely fucks the tone.
Yeah.
Like I love Winston Duke on many levels, but I do like the dorky dad shit, but it does completely detract from what's going on.
Yeah. I watched The Invitation from 2015. That one messed me up for a couple of days. It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Alien Romulus from 2024. A lot of people shit on it for being fan servicey. I didn't think so. Maybe a little bit, but I really think that it does a lot beyond being Alien and Aliens, despite the director saying, no, that's what we were doing. But like, yeah, I get it. I see it, but it also does a lot to expand on that. So I'm a bit of a defender of that one, despite what it clearly is. I watched Cure from 1997, and I should probably bump the rating up on this one because it's really fucking good. It is Korean, I think. Um, it's hard to describe. It is a detective struggling with his home and work life. It sounds very cliche, but the way that it's shot is incredible. There's so many cool things done with the camera that I don't know. Go fucking watch it. It's amazing. It should be 4.5 stars. The Menu, I don't think really counts as a horror movie. I gave it 4.5 stars. Unfortunately, I had the twist spoiled for me. Sinners, 4.5 stars from this year. I'm surprised.
I did not count that on my list, but I have no criticisms of that movie. That is my top of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it was really, really good. I was surprised at how many people I knew in it. I didn't realize the cast was so stacked. I rewatched Evil Dead Rise. Collin and his girlfriend were over, and they both said they hadn't seen it. And I was like, well, let's fucking go. And that movie only gets better every time I rewatch it. This is my third or fourth time through it, and I'm like, man, this is a really, really solid movie. It's too bad it was made during COVID, because that probably held it back a little bit, but overall, very good movie. And then my last one, my top for the year, is Nosferatu from 2024. I've seen it twice, I think, maybe 3 times, and it's really straightforward in doing vampires are a sexual horror, and it doesn't overdo it on the sex. I don't think a lot of it is implied, just like any other vampire story. But there's a lot of cool things, like practical effects that are done that I watch and I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? Like in the opening scene when the vampire guy is standing in her window and casting a shadow, but there's nobody there. Like, I don't know how they cast the shadow and didn't have the guy there. Like, there's things like that where it's like, that was done practically. I know that in my balls, but I don't know how they did that.
No clue. I'm with you though. That was, I think, my third last year. Because I get to watch it in a film screening.
I really should have. I had the opportunity to see it in true, actual, no shit, real IMAX, not like the fake IMAX that we have here. And I didn't get to, and I'm very bummed.
Yeah.
I think it's like film IMAX instead of digital, but
yeah,
it's one of like 14 in the country, and I could have.
Someone I know, who I used to be a camp counselor for back in the day, works at one of those and is going to film school, and I want to kill him.
Do it.
Great guy. Weird opinions. Mostly good movie opinions. Weird dude. Wouldn't want to get a beer with him some days. But like, every time he posts, he's like, look at me at a fucking screening on 70 millimeter. I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself. He lives in like Montana or some shit. It's like the one that's just out there in bumpkin country. Wild. Okay, so I wanted to watch all of the Friday the 13th movies so I could lock in my opinions on the ones that I've already watched, say I've watched all the other ones, and then arbitrarily end up agreeing with everybody because they're bad. And I wasn't able to finish. So I rewatched.
Typical, am I right?
Yeah. I finished part 1 and part 2, which I've seen before, which I like moderately. They're all right. This is near the peak of what this franchise will ever be. 3 had the 3D gimmick and was bad, and then the 3D gimmick was implemented horribly. Dog shit. 4,
I think that's the one that had Kevin Bacon stabbed through the chest.
Pretty sure, yeah. 4 was a massive step up. It was good. It took a long time to get rolling. There's a lot of characters fucking around. The only group of teenagers I don't hate watching in any of these And then when the kills happen, they're great and very. There's a sequence of one of the final girl going and finding like 5 dead bodies, but not at once. And it's like, oh my god, there's a dead person in this room. Moves to the next room. Oh, there's another dead person in a weird position in this room. It's like back to back to back. It hits really hard. There's a person crucified in front of a doorway. It's great. 5 is horrid in every sense of the word. It's artistically depraved. It's unfunny. It looks like shit. Nobody wanted to be there. It has a fake Jason. I don't care. The only thing that was good was the fact that the director basically shot a porno in the woods, which he is openly stated. Just that sex scene was very, very, very hot and sweaty. And I like the little kid who roasts everybody the whole movie. Dog shit. Unexpectedly, 6 is fucking awesome. It sounds like 6 and 4 are the highlights of the franchise for everybody, and I do agree. 6 finally figures out how to be self-aware, but in a good way, instead of being, I guess just knowing you're making dog shit, but like not really doing anything about it. I don't know. There's a different attitude when you know you're making some corn, some like cornball cheese goober shit, and like poking enough fun at it to make fun of it, but not to excuse your own bad work, if that makes sense. It opens up with Jason getting resurrected, which I've always made fun of because it's stupid, but I like it. And then it zooms into his eyeball and he does a James Bond gunshot opening and it goes hard as fuck. It's so stupid. The whole movie is basically that. It's like, why would you ever do that? And then they commit to it. And it's like, okay, this is goofy, but it's fun. The kills are surprisingly bloodless by comparison. A lot of them happen off screen. Like a character will be grabbed and then the knife starts going for them, but they don't show the wound. And then they'll show the dead body afterwards covered in blood. But like the actual practical throat slitting and all that shit, most of it's not there, which is weird. Yeah, I quite like that one. And 7 is really, really bad, and I don't want to talk about it. It's Jason versus Carrie, and I fucking hate everything about it. It's a telekinetic teenager. I hate it. It looks bad, sounds bad, not funny, doesn't have anything to say. Stinky doo-doo. 5 and 7 are so fucking bad. So my official ranking so far, even though I know for a fact that Jason Takes Manhattan is probably going to then go right down to the bottom spot anyways, because I know everything about that movie is bad. We got bottom is 7. Then we got 5, only because a child roasts teenagers. It's the only thing that's watchable in that movie. 3, 1, 2, 4, 6. I'm still not a fan of the series.
You're only missing 4 of them. And I know that you like 2011 or whatever, like pretty well.
Yes. Aside, I don't think that the remake has anything really of value to it. So like it's ranked in the middle of everything. It's not like it's good. It's technically solid.
Yeah.
It looks interesting. It's straightforward. It has none of this weird fucking lore bullshit. None of the every other movie retcons the last one. Like 5 goes in a weird spot from 4. 6 just acts like 5 doesn't exist and everything like that. Also, the companies that owned the IP changed after like 7. It's weird. Like all that sort of shit. It just doesn't play into the remake. However, it has nothing to say. It is mean and gross for no reason. But it's still watchable. It's like the most watchable out of any of them if you're looking for a regular experience. Like the Good Fridays are fun and gross. The bad ones are unwatchable. The ones in the middle are like they're entertaining with somebody else or if you're drinking or whatever. The remake is just like a straightforward, you sit down, you watch it. It doesn't mean it's that good. And like Sweet Revenge, the recent canonical short film that came out, is also in the middle for entirely different reasons. That was a weird watch. I made you watch it. It was bizarre and fine. Yeah. Never gonna be a fan of this shit.
Never say never.
No.
Cool.
No.
We hope you've enjoyed this horror movie extravaganza. Maybe we'll do the same next year. Let us know in the comments if you made it all the way through this episode.
Do you recognize every title in this, or are you a normal person?
Yeah. Tell us if we talked about a movie you've never heard of before, and if you went and watched it, and what your thoughts are. And all about the details the rest of your life entail.
So, now as an arbitrary tradition, we're going to need to do a holiday special, but it's all of the animated series of all of our nerd shit when they have a Christmas episode. And we got to talk about those.
That's going to be like a 5-minute episode. I don't think I participate in those.
Oh, goodness. Thank you to our patrons over at patreon.com/dimecomicbros network, Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence. They're probably the only two people, flatly, who listen to any of this, but also who might actually understand what we're saying.
True.
I think are the only two people I know who would know most of these things. Go give us money, even though we're not actually taking money right now. The donation bin is closed, but you can still put a quarter on top of it.
Right.
You get all
It'll
sorts
be
of
open
perks.
again at some point.
Yeah, you get your name shouted out. You get some cool stickers and bookmarks, and at some point we're going to come up with some more stuff. You get early access to some of our content. You get exclusive access to happy hour segments where every show, mostly, will yap about random crap. Could be video game stuff. It could be my toenail fungus. It might be
You still haven't fixed that?
It might be Jacob learning how to box braid his hair with a recording of me just talking over it and providing guidance, Who knows?
I already know how to.
Mm-hmm. A thank you to our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games, who I know for a fact do not listen to any of this, and I'm kind of grateful, even though they'd probably find it funny. They'd look at us differently.
Maybe if you had picked up your pull list, they would pay attention to our show.
Yeah, well, they pay attention that we exist. It's just they don't listen.
No.
The only one we'd have a chance with is Kyle, and
I don't blame him.
Yeah, no. Kyle was the one who yelled at me about my pull list. I went in and was like, I was about to, go to the counter. He's like, what do you want? And I'm like, my list. And he's like, yeah, we got rid of that yesterday. And I was like, oh, fair, but fuck. He's like, yeah, that'll happen. I'm like, yeah, no, that's entirely valid. So now I have to buy $50,000 worth of merchandise before I'm back in their good graces. / I get the balls to ask for a pull list again.
Good luck, Chief.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd give it to me. I'm a scared little chicken. I don't want to do it because I feel bad. Tune in to Dime Gaming Bros, where we still do stuff. Dime Comic Bros will return at some point. Maybe in Avengers Doomsday.
I don't think so. Good luck with that, Chief.